Hello, my name is Dr. Joanna Kujava, and I'm the author of The Other Goddess. And today I have this kind of impromptu recording, so please let me know if you want me to do them more often or perhaps not. But I just came back from my walk, so forgive me, I'm not a little bit unkept. And there is something very urgent, I think, that we need to discuss. And I think that my strength, and this is what I would like to share with you, is the ability to bring together different esoteric traditions, which I have studied very seriously for at least 20 years. They are especially the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and the Hindu esoteric traditions, but also traditional Hindu Vedanta. I started to look for wisdom in alternative spiritualities, such as first Hinduism, traditional Hinduism, which is Vedanta, the classical Hindu scriptures, and esoteric teachings of Hinduism, especially Kashmir Shaivism, and also the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and other Gnostic Gospels, which are the rejected Gospels that were not accepted in the Bible, because I felt I was not given enough guidance about life and the meaning of life from regular traditional institutional sources, religious sources. So I had nothing against any existing religious traditions. In fact, I was brought up as a Catholic, but I really felt that I wasn't given any guidance. And I feel that we are thrown into this life without any guidance. So I thought if I can help anyone and also help myself, but reminding myself what I'm studying and share it with you, perhaps it can be helpful. But also what prompted this particular video is that one of my cousins' son, a young man who just finished high school, when he was asked what profession he would like to choose, he said he has no idea, and he says, how can I make money fast? And that kind of broke my heart, because I think this is what the majority of people actually think. And there is something wrong with the way we bring up our next generations, our children, our families, if this is the question that young people ask themselves, the first question. Also, this morning, I had to go to a shopping center to buy myself basically new running shoes, or runners, as we call it in Australia. And I'm always like in and out. I just buy what I really need and get out, because I really do not like that energy there. But I see that lots of people just like to hang out there, because it seems to me that for lots of people, like this is what there is, like shopping centers and TV. And this is not a judgment, it is just profound sadness that somehow we lost the sense of any meaning in life, and maybe also spiritual meaning in life, because, this is what many people think, this is what there is. So I would like to share some things that gave me consolation, and more than a consolation, gave me guidance, because I also teach postgraduate courses here in Australia. And very often, I have people who say, this is my passion. And then I see and they give up that passion. And they say, oh, how can I earn money quickly? And I don't think that we shouldn't make money quickly, because I also make compromises, right? So I'm juggling both things. Like I'm doing what I'm doing here. I wrote my book, The Other Goddess. And then I work as I have a full-time job pretty much as a working academic, because I also need to pay my bills. So we all have to juggle this. But maybe I will share first what I have learned from Vedanta, which is and then the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, because they're extremely similar in many ways. So Vedanta is basically classical Hindu scriptures. And for me, they really have, it really gave me practical advice. And for a while, I studied with an Indian teacher and a guru, Parthasarathi. And I daily used to read few verses from Vedanta and his explanation of these verses, because I bought this book, which is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is, his commentary on Vedanta. And this is volume 3. And I always have, Yeah, because it's like I need access to this page to remind myself something. So I read it's chapter 18, verse 47 for you, and I'll explain the meaning of this, and then I'll show you that actually the Gospel of Mary Magdalene says the same about how to make choices in life, especially when we think about important decisions in our lives, but also professional decisions. So for chapter 1847 of the Vedanta. Better is Swadharma, one's duty, though without merit, than Pradharma, duty of another well performed. By performing action ordained by one's nature, one incurs no sin. Okay, so part of our scriptures is that it is very difficult to understand the verses, but they are actually meant to be like seeds of wisdom, and you have to read them over and over again. And also that's why it's good to have a spiritual teacher who can explain the meaning of a verse to us. So the very good explanation that Parthasarathi gave, and then I also later elaborated on it myself, is that first I have to explain the Sanskrit meanings of the words. So Swadharma is your own nature. Swadharma is your own natural inclination, something that you feel really passionate about. You do something and time is flowing. So for example, when I teach, right, like now, I hope and share what I know, or when I write especially, time is flying and I don't feel tired. Only when I stop, suddenly, adrenaline drops and I'm really exhausted. But I could work like that for hours, and because I love it, like I'm in online Swadharma. Now, the other one, which let me check, Paradharma, it is the kind of something that is alien to your nature. And very often it comes like in traditional India, it came like you came from this caste, so this is what you should do. You come from as a craftsman or a warrior, or a Brahmin or a priest, and this is what you should do. In our Western world, it is more likely like, get a job. Like this is what my cousin said to his son, if you want to make money, become a doctor or a lawyer, and fair enough, it's a practical advice. Or if you're good like with business and you have some cash to start up, maybe you should go to business. So this is a little bit like Paradharma, which means, let me check that I'm not mispronouncing it. Yes. That it means that something that the world is telling us that, it would work for us financially. And it is, of course, a very practical advice. And I have a job, I have a daytime job as an academic as well. But it's quite interesting that this verse 47 of chapter 18 of the scriptures, Hindu scripture, says, it is better to do something according to your Swadharma, which is your natural inclination and your passion, even because we are very practical. This is what I love about this teaching. Even if you don't make great accomplishment in this lifetime according, by following your passion, even that perhaps you don't get great financial returns for this, but then your soul, your being does not incur any sin. It means you are not, there is no agitation. You live according to the highest principle of divine joy, so to speak. And, Vedanta and Hinduism have a very long-term kind of view of our existence. So it's like, if not in this lifetime, so in a future lifetime, doesn't matter, but you work towards something according to your nature, according to the craving or a desire of your soul. Okay. And they say also practically here in explanation of this verse, that it is better if you have to do it, what you love first part-time, and then, and then have a job on the side, then do it part-time. Like this is what I do, I have a job and I do this, and, I wrote a book. So we are all juggling, but it's better to do it even in a part-time than not do it at all. And this is when actually you fulfill your dharma, which means the meaning of your life. That's the reason why you were born. So it is not the right question actually to ask yourself, how can I make lots of money fast? That really breaks my soul, breaks my heart and saddens my soul. But what is my passion? And then you can also, unless, everything is on your side and you can actually earn a living by following your passion, that's wonderful. But for some of us, even for me at this moment, I have to also have a job, which I actually enjoy. And the more I do it, actually, the more I enjoy, the more of my swadharma, with my passion I can bring to this, because I can always share some nuggets of spiritual wisdom with my students, right? Even if it's not on a PowerPoint slide, right? Because I cannot put it there. But the essence of this verse 47 of chapter 18 of Vedanta is that follow, what your nature is telling you, follow your natural passion, follow your natural inclination. Because if I can explain it a little bit more, according to Hinduism, we all have our vasanas. Vasanas are all our natural predispositions. Some are positive, some are negative. And it is really important to clue into what's there. And our vasanas in Hinduism are actually stored in our sushumna. Sushumna is like the subtle energy along our spine. It's like a channel through which the energy actually is moving. It's the channel, really, not the energy. And this all desires and vasanas will pop up. And it is really important to live in accordance with your own nature. So this is according to Hinduism, and I'm talking here now not about even esoteric Hinduism, but like a classical Vedanta, which is the classical scripture of Hinduism. I hope it made sense. And now I want to show you that actually, I'm just looking at my notes here, so forgive me, but actually the Gospel of Mary Magdalene is talking about the same thing. Because, in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, just very quickly, Mary Magdalene discusses 4 levels of consciousness. And in my other talks, and I also have a course coming up on the 22nd of July of 2024, when I am discussing it in great detail, she is talking about different levels of consciousness. And when she's talking about second level of consciousness, the second level of consciousness, it is craving or desire. And when she's talking about it, she's actually saying some of the things as well. And there's also a quotation from Jesus, so which I'm going to give you in a moment. That is exactly the same thing. So these 4 levels of consciousness that Mary Magdalene discusses can have both negative and positive aspects. Okay, so from each level of consciousness, you can go up or down. You can take it, your desire, you can take your desire higher, or you can allow your desire to bring you down. So I will give you a quote from the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which is actually, these are the words of Jesus. The sin or / suffering, because it's one and the same thing, as such does not exist. It is you who make it exist when acting according to your lower nature or habits, or to your corrupted nature or habits. Gospel of Mary Magdalene, page 7, verses 16 to 19. So this is the same meaning, dear friends. It means that you can use your desire by following the natural passions of your soul. What brings you joy. And you lose a sense of time. Your life has a meaning when you do this, or you can follow the lower levels, of your passion, of your desire, right? Which is basically also looking at the externals and telling you what I should do. So I don't know, but I have a title, I have lots of publications, like, in academia, or I make lots of money, which is very common, right? This is another thing, and I would like to maybe read you another quote in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, where Jesus basically says, "It is all within you." Don't listen to those who say it is there, outside there, or it is outside here. It says it is within you. Look within you, right? So interestingly, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which is the esoteric Christianity, and Hindu Vedanta actually speak about the same thing. And it is a great joy for me to bring these different esoteric traditions, and share them with you, because they really work for me. They really give me guidance. And as I said, the reason why I had this a very quick talk when I just came back from a walk, and I had to buy myself new runners in a shopping center as well. But it strikes me how people actually don't know, how to live meaningful lives. And we don't know because nobody tells us. Very often institutionalized religions are just so ritualized that they actually forgot what they are about. And this is not even a criticism, it's just an observation, we're just too stuck in their ways. And then, there's this new agey thing, which is a little bit more positive, but it's kind of, all over the place, and it's not working for everyone. And sometimes perhaps slightly unrealistic, although a little bit more positive, I have to say. But there is a great wisdom in some of the sources, especially in esoteric sources, and teachers of many generations, try to share it with us. And I especially wanted to share this particular verse from chapter 18, verse 47 from the Vedantic scriptures, which is the Hindu scriptures, and from the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. And I'm just going to give you, I should have here a type, just to give me a moment, I can give you an actual verse 60, page 7, verses 16 to 19. And they say the same thing: look within and follow your inner passion. And then, you one with the divine, even if it doesn't bring you immediate results. And in Hinduism, of course, there is this very broad vision of life, which goes beyond this one life. And I think that I probably was a scholar for many lifetimes, because, academia continues to provide for me over and over again, although I'm kind of almost like a reluctant academic, because I want to be really an esoteric, writer and share esoteric knowledge with people. But, it continues to provide for me. So it means like I've done it for lifetimes, because it just, opportunities come and I say, no, opportunities come, I say, maybe no. Because I follow the passion of my soul, which is basically learning about this encoded esoteric teachings and hopefully sharing them with you. So this is it for today. So I just want to show you that this is Vedanta. This is Parthasarathy's volume 3. Very good explanation of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, but extremely esoteric, is by Jean-Yves Leloup. And I also try to kind of simplify it in my book, The Other Goddess. And I also have a course on the 22nd of July this year, 2024. Otherwise, also please let me know if you want me to have this kind of impromptu, spontaneous talks. Thank you so much.